and see what we're doing. And then the 500,000 in red for the steep grant that we're applying for the Cheney Park restroom and sewer completion there. And that's kind of an overview of that. So if you want to start from the beginning, you have the assessor, 127, that's in that color. Are we short of,
Yes.
do we have another one over here? Maybe I grabbed the wrong one. Everybody should have one.
No,
I have an extra.
Do you have another one there? Yeah.
there was one in your book.
You are so efficient that I just grabbed someone else's, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. The salmon colored numbers you see are CNRE, so when they are expended, they are put in the CNREs for specifically that item. We'll have a reval coming up in a few years, so we're trying to start putting money aside. That's the assessor. Now, let me ask you a question. You want me to just kind of go through each one and then somebody stop me when they want to say something, or?
I think that's perfect.
Let's just go over it, yeah,
Yeah,
just
is
keep
that-
moving through, you know.
And then when you want
where
to
we're
stop me, you'll just do
Yeah,
it?
if somebody has a question.
Okay, the folding machine, this has come up, this is an annual lease, this is a lease to own,
Right.
after a certain number of years. We have this under the tax collectors for the amount of bills they sent out. We are looking, to use this down at the water and sewer, department as well. Once we do, more billing down there, we think that we'll be able to bill on a quarterly basis instead of a biannual basis, once we get the meters that are radio controlled. So we think this will work, but that's in there. He's asked for this for some time. This has been removed from the budget a few times.
Is there a machine in existence?
We do not have a machine. We all do it all by hand, is that correct? Fold and stuff and like the stamps and
We use a postage machine for that.
go down, the rider
You lick the
comes.
stamp machine instead
The
of,
rider comes, we put it in his saddlebag and off he
yeah,
goes.
and the poor thing doesn't have a place to even get any shade up.
Now that we've got the interconnection, he's got water.
Yeah, we do have
We
water,
can water the horse.
yeah, we
So
can
we're good.
move
All
it
right, so
rapidly along.
that's in there. I don't know what you want to do. We've been on a systematic replacement for the survey equipment, the CAD software equipment. We've been funding that. This is the computer, $15,000 to upgrade the computers. They are on a 5-year schedule, and we're coming to the end. We've almost got all the very old replaced into the 5-year system, and then next year, I think, we'll start replacing the 5-year-olds. So this will get us up to speed. There are, in the building maintenance, the folding doors in the East Lyme Activity Room. They're becoming dangerous to move. They take a couple of people to do it. They're a little bit sticky. I suggest if you'd like to go up and take a look at them, you do that. This is a replacement. They now come electric, so it would make sense, and these would help divide the rooms off so that we can continue to rent those rooms or use those rooms
So
as
this
we
would
break
be
them
for
down.
that big
The big
room,
room,
so
yeah.
you could divide it up.
Divides it into 3, I
Okay.
believe. Is that correct? Divides it from 1 into 3. So this includes the 2 sets, replacement and disposal of the old, I understand, right? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Painting the community center, the library, now I have that in there, although I am talking to the prison about them providing the labor for that. We're still up in the air, literally, when I say that, because if you go into the center part of the library, it's up in the air about 3 stories. So that needs more of a dusting. We wouldn't be able to use the prisoners for that. Prisoners would go in the back section where the square walls would be, and they'd be able to do some of it. So we're trying to figure out how much of that money we're gonna use, and we'll have to bring a company in to clean that dome-like area and then paint that. Sprinkler system repairs at 8 Capitol. Chuck is here, you can expound on that if you want. There are some fixtures that people tend to drive over in the East Lyme parking lot for the streetlights. They don't usually win that battle. so we have to replace those streetlights. But I think we're looking at doing something to try to slow down the devastation up there. Handicap entrance in the community center.
So what's, as you go in?
Well, once you get into main foyer,
Yeah.
when you head to the senior center, there's no one, it needs one of those push buttons so that someone coming in a wheelchair.
Which can just
otherwise
push it
they
in,
can't get
okay,
in.
so it's not the
It's not-
external entrance,
yeah.
it's the internal
The building
entrance.
is handicap accessible, it's,
You can't get into anywhere other
Yeah.
than coming into
Okay,
the building. Yeah.
Are
Yeah.
we looking to do similar things with the library and the
Yeah.
other?
They want to sit up here.
Sorry. I mean, are we required?
Mr. Bentz is the one, Ron Bentz is the one that told me that, he's the one that put this number in for the senior center. I'm not aware if we were looking in the library at this time.
So it's just as you, once you're in the community center, going into that main senior center.
That's correct.
Meeting activity room.
That's correct.
Okay.
There may be one at the library. We don't know if there's.
Yeah.
There is one at the library. There is one at the library. This is for the community center and the Parks and Rec.
Our office does not
I
have
have
one.
one.
So this 5,000 will be left and right
Yeah,
when you walk in?
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
seniors.
Generator for the town hall, as you know, we were down for 3 or 4 days. I believe this is the last, Anna reminds me, 4 days we were down. Isn't this the last used building without a generator? Multi-use building, I think, is that correct, Bill?
Yes, it's also, our computers and email are all based here, so
Yeah.
that during a storm, if
The
once we
service,
lose
everything,
power, we lose communication
everything is down,
with regards to email
yeah, okay.
and financial software.
And that is in purple, so that means
Oh, so-
LoSiP, so that money is coming in. That's a local capital improvement project from the state, so that'll be reimbursable. Pump replacements, we've been putting that number in for HVAC and those pumps up at the community center, townwide roof replacements. We had buckets in the town clerk office this week when some backed up ice and snow came. We have the money put aside for that roof. That's being bid out, and that'll probably be replaced in the spring or the summer, is that?
That is correct.
And then this is the reason we're able to do those things is because we put that money aside in anticipation for it. Again, another LoSiP funding for the police department, having a sally port and upgrading that building a little bit, which I think we should do, put a couple of cells in there and a sally port. It will save us some time now that the troop dispatch is now moved to Tolland, and sometimes that troop is not manned, except for those troopers that are responsible for that are out on the road. They do come back in, but it puts more of a burden on our guys moving up there. So if we have something here, it would be a little bit cheaper, and that also is LoSiP, so. And then the GIS upgrade for planning. Keep going. Smith Harris, next year they're looking for something. The harbor management, did he send an increase for that report? This is a $7,500 report to upgrade the harbor management plan. I thought did you get an email from him? No? Okay, so I'm mistaken.
That would be Steve Dinsmore?
What's that?
Is it
Yes.
Dinsmore?
Or Landers, either one of the two.
Yeah,
Did
I
they
know
ask
that-
for increased dollars at your?
at the last meeting we had, no, they didn't. They were gonna
Okay.
ask for their release of once the budget
Oh,
is
maybe
approved for
that's,
next year.
maybe that's what I said.
Because
Okay.
we got they had $7,500 in this year's budget in capital,
At
and
75.
$7,500 for next year.
That's why I must have seen the release question, because
And I
we have an intern working for
Yeah,
that.
and I think that it's possible too, because the fellow that's working on it did send them a bill, so unless it could have
Okay.
been for that.
Okay. That's right, it's not an intern, it was a guy who did it some
Yeah.
time ago. That's right. The intern's working for Bill. Police department, our annual 2 vehicles, except this year we're doing a patrol car, and they would like a patrol truck, a pickup truck. They will use it, the price is about the same. We're adding a 3rd vehicle for the detective. As his car is, how old is his car, Chad?
2008 or 9, I believe.
Okay.
Could you stop there?
Stop here, yep.
The patrol truck, is that a standard pickup truck?
Yes.
That would essentially be 2 passengers?
No.
I mean, two people?
It's a police package,
4-door, 4-wheel drive.
4-door, 4-wheel drive pickup truck.
Like a crew cab?
And it would have to be, the 4-door would have to be with cages in it. Are they gonna do that?
That was my understanding,
Yeah.
but I'm not certain that that's what they're gonna want,
Yeah.
but that's what we're looking at.
I'm not sure, but I don't think that the intent was to use that
For cages?
For cages and
Okay.
prisoner transport, but I could be wrong.
What is the intent to have a pickup truck?
Can I?
Please.
Seeing as how you're the only one left here that take the shirt off.
Sergeant Blanchette may not appreciate me talking out of turn, but it is a patrol truck.
Why stop now? Mr.
Yeah.
Dombrowski?
4 doors, 4-wheel drive, just like Chuck explained. Is my request, because I requested the vehicle multiple years over. I don't see that it's a caged vehicle.
You don't, okay.
Mostly because a passenger, I'm looking to transport people, not prisoners. No different than I did with the Expedition. I didn't have a cage in the Expedition. I don't see that it's required in my pickup truck, or the pickup truck that I'm requesting. It has multiple uses. It's for towing capacity, carrying capacity. We've had several different cases in the last couple of years where large amounts of property have been seized. In fact, one just happened last week. Transporting of ATVs if we needed to do that, towing of trailers.
What
Bear-
size bed?
Probably 5.5 or 6 foot bed.
So
We're not-
short bed.
Yeah, we're not looking for an 8-foot truck. We're looking relatively short. Hopefully, the wheelbase isn't a whole lot different than the Expedition was. It will be a slightly longer, I believe, but not great. But it just gives us that capability we don't have now.
This is primarily a utility vehicle.
No more than the Expedition was, and I drove the Expedition almost every day. I plan on driving the pickup truck every day. It's going to be a patrol vehicle. That's my sell to Sergeant Blanchette and you guys. It is a patrol vehicle. It may not look like a police car, but it's going to be a patrol vehicle. It will be used as long as it's on the road.
So if you were on duty that night for a regular shift,
Yes.
and you needed to apprehend and transport prisoners, you'd have to call for backup.
No, he'll sit in the front seat just like I did with the Expedition. That's how I use the Expedition. He sat.
Is the prisoner's gonna sit in the front seat with
Yep.
you?
He sat right there next to me, just like the state police do now.
We've done that for forever.
Years and years and
Our
years.
We don't have a cage, so
I
our
did-
prisoners sit
Yep.
right to our right.
Yep.
Oops, I'm sorry.
But as long as the Expedition was in the fleet, we had no cage in the Expedition, and I transported however often I arrested people, they got transported in the front seat, and I don't plan on changing that.
They often wear bracelets, don't they?
They are, if they're a prisoner, they're handcuffed.
They wear bracelets.
To be honest, whether it's trainings or it's not so much fun being the police officer sitting in the back of the police car while we're having multiple police officers in the car, and we don't have a vehicle to do that. We did that with the Expedition, and the plan is to do that with the truck. So,
Thank you.
okay.
Remind me after talking about something.
I just wanted to say, Jim, that we could also put that fuel cell in the back of that. And
Is that-
at the rest of the time of the year, you can take it out, and you only use it in the summer when you need it.
And I think and I don't believe, not knowing a fuel cell per se, but I
They
think
don't
it's
take
ca-
up a whole lot of room.
and I
you
think it's
can get-
capable of coming in and out.
Yep.
If
and
we
they-
needed
and
it, we can take it out.
It's not a big deal.
Right.
Yep. But it would give you that availability. The other thing I wanted to say is that you could pick up your own barricades and put them in the back of that.
And that was the other sell, absolutely. Bicycles, I can't tell you how many bicycles I put I can't do it anymore. The trunks aren't big enough any longer. The LTDs, and how much radio service damage was done because we put bicycles in the trunk. Well, that won't have to be done. Now,
Yeah, I mean, just traffic cones and
Yep,
barricades and things that
absolutely.
you could do on your own
Yes.
instead of calling a
Correct.
public works vehicle to come and move them, and they get there when they can get there, and that's the way it is. So I think it's a move in the positive.
Any other
Thank you.
questions on that?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Where were we?
Equipment for the noted vehicles, CNRE funds, 78,000. That equipment, Anna, is 78,000.
That's the equipment that would be used for the 3 vehicles that we would be purchasing. So instead of running the equipment that goes into the vehicles through the acquisition program, we'll use resources that we have in the CNRE fund to pay directly for them.
That seems like a high number, though, the 78,000 for the equipment. What is that? Remind me what that is.
Lights,
Radios.
radios, cameras, computers, cages, I believe we have radios also.
Okay.
Cars are running $16,000 for everything, each car.
So but that would come in at about 45, and this
That's
is
it.
78?
But I don't know whether she's included other vehicles or just.
Yeah.
Didn't you put a vehicle in that, or what?
No.
This is what you have the breakdown? Okay, what do you have in here? 78?
78,750.
Okay, so what you have here for 78,750 would be 2 cars, computers and cameras, 2 cars lights, 2 cars, computers and cameras, and the detective car, 25,000. Lights, 12,000. Lettering, 1,500. Radios, state police radios, 12,000. Those are new. That's what Sergeant Blanchett indicated. We'll chip away at that. Computers and cameras for the patrol truck, so, I'm sorry, I misspoke. The 2 computers and cameras, one would be the detective car and one would be the patrol car at 25,000. The computers and cameras for the patrol truck is 12,500. Then lights for the truck, lettering for the truck is 7750. Radio for the police, state police radio is 8,000. So it
Adds up
looks-
quick.
It looks like the only difference would be the truck is a $2,000 more package for the state police radio, but that's 78,750, and that money is in the CNRE.
Yes, that's correct.
Now we have that money currently.
So that is just for the equipment?
That is just for the equipment for the police. That's 7850.
Does not include any, the vehicles are separate?
No,
as
the
you
vehicles
said.
are separate,
Right,
and
okay.
you see here for the vehicles, the cost.
They're all in that
The
line.
cost are then times the 5-year in the
5 year, right,
acquisition
okay.
program for the 23, and then the committed acquisition program that we have, you see is dwindling
Yeah.
over the next few years as we pay it down.
No, okay.
Um,
So that 78,750 is just for the equipment to make the vehicles?
Right, and the reason that
the way
Anna
they
asked
need
for
to
it
be.
separate was because the paperwork to get each of these items into the acquisition program is extensive. So
You
it doesn't
wrap it
make
into
sense
the
to go in there.
CNRE.
Yeah, we're not borrowing it for 5 years, we have the money. It came from a series of refunds, I believe, that we got.
No, a part of it is the sale of the trash truck,
Right,
and then some of the FEMA funds.
right, okay. So it came in from some money, so we put it aside for use of these items, so then we're just gonna pay for it.
No, it
And then
makes
the
sense.
acquisition program will be easier on Anna, be cheaper on the acquisition program, and easier to manage. Good with police?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Niantic Fire, the chief's vehicle that he has, that's a continued payment, the fire hose he talked about, and the turnout gear. Now, again, the tower truck, well, we're looking at that, and the turnout gear, you saw the note for Flanders that we
Mhm.
moved the 18,000 into capital because it increased, it was over the $5,000 threshold. Emergency management, that's the simulcast annual payment at 44, and the new fire marshal's vehicle payment at the acquisition program.
Mhm.
And then the public works acquisition program, That is the ongoing one, and you see each year, that line will, even though it's 433 this year, it's reduced the next few years to pay off the past. And then the acquisition program, per the new plan, the payment will be the 86,000, which is the top line on page 3. Chuck is here to talk about what those vehicles are if you want. The equipment, again, for those vehicles, we're doing the same thing. For the public works vehicles that we did for the police, we'll pay out of the CNRE fund. That is the 35.7. That would include a stainless sander, which is a 2 cubic yard, at 3 of those at $5,000 each. A plow for a pickup truck at $5,000, and lights for a pickup truck at $1,700. The snow blower for the Kubota at $5,000, and the snow bucket for the large loader at $9,000. That snow blower for the Kubota, is that for the the sidewalks?
No, actually, it's gonna be for when we have a big storm, if we need to move snow on a road or a parking lot like out here, if we had to move a large amount of snow. If we had a large snowstorm, we'd just come in here with a snow blower and blow it rather than try to plow it.
Okay, all right.
It's gonna assist us in those 12-plus inch storms where we need to move snow, and
Okay.
it's just gonna make our life a lot easier.
Okay. So that 35,000 is in the CNRE, but that's cash that we have accumulated, and we'll go from there. The single stream recycling, that's the annual, I think that is the 4th payment out of 5 to buy the initial recycling carts. We got that at a 1% interest rates, I believe.
So these are the actual things that we, the residents, put the recycling in,
You fill,
the
yeah,
bins?
yeah. We
Okay.
bought them, and the SCARA gave us a low interest loan on that, and we've been paying it off over 5 years, and these are the last 2 payments that you
And
see there.
they've got a pretty good lifespan. Have we had to replace many of them?
We buy a few, dozen every year, is that?
When the original purchase was made in 2003, we got an 18-year life on them, free warranty. So we have had replacements, but the replacements we've never had
To pay for? Okay, thank you.
And I've currently got about 400 on my desk that's gonna be sent out in the next few weeks to see if I can't get those replaced. Some of them are old, some of them are new. The only time we don't get replacements is if they get lost in the garbage truck, which does happen occasionally.
Thank you.
You're all on your desk, huh?
Yep,
Wow, that's a huge office.
little squares with numbers on them.
I know. I saw them cut out. in some reason.
Sidewalk repair, again, I talked about the bonding for the 2 items, the sidewalk construction and the town roads. The parking lots, I think, is the same as everything else that we talked about. The dams, we're continuing to do that, as it's a mandate to us. So that's Public Works. Shall I keep moving?
Yeah.
Sure.
Commission on Aging, that's the 1 truck that we had to pay for. We had 2, 1 was a grant, so we have 3 years left on that. We're proposing next year to expand the community center. This is a potential adding on, if you're looking at the entrance to the community center, a room to the right, which would increase this expansion. It'd be a simple box, sheet-rocked room with no, perhaps there'd be a basement. We're talking about putting a basement in that for storage, because there's really no storage there, but that will help with the increase in the need at the senior center as those of us in need of those services approach that age.
Where would it be, Paul?
If you look at the
The entrance?
door to the right, there's
Of
a,
the senior center or the community center? As you go in the
Be
main
both.
door?
no, the senior center,
Okay.
to the right. So it would just be an extension, and then there'd be a rectangular room there. There's room there where people park sometimes.
Mm-hmm, okay, got
So
you.
you would just
Yeah.
build it on there. The offices would probably stay there, and they'd be able to reconstruct the inside. It looks like an easy fix for a large room, and it would take a lot of heat off that. So that's proposed for next year. We're looking into that. We'll bring more details to you. The Cheney Park restrooms, that's a steep grant application that Gary's working on for an April submission. The Parks Master Plan, Dave has requested to really go over what we're going to do with the Park and Rec Department in the future, and then the park and Peretz Park improvements at $100,000 for a bond. I don't know if you wanna,
Yeah, the park is, park's coming up on 25 years, believe it or not. And so our parking barriers really need to be replaced. We have no shelter in there, so that would include a pavilion to put out there. So if we have lightning storm or any storms during the summer, there's really no shelter there, so we really need to do something there. So, that would include those types of
And
improvements
the
there.
100,000 you think would cover?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Basketball court, too.
No, no.
Okay, that's a bonded item though, so that would come in more detail. The acquisition program, this is the current one, I believe, and then the new one would be the 8,600. And then the equipment, does that falls into this, the cash that we have in the CNRE, that $5,000, and that would pay for a debris blower attachment. That would go on the pickup truck? Debris blower attachment, what does that go on?
No, they could go on the Kubota drive.
Oh, okay, goes on the tractor,
We're gonna
okay.
use that, that'll be a multi-use thing where we can use it at the fields, and then we can use it out on the streets.
For the parade or something like that, yeah.
But to take some of the areas where we don't have houses that's got leaves built on in the fall, we can blow the leaves in the woods and just make the road cleaner and neater for us.
Mm-hmm, that's a good idea.
Okay. Skateboard park, we got 50,000 back in. We're gonna try that again to see if we can put that in. That was taken out by the Board of Finance, I believe. Townwide projects,
Could
we
we
put up.
stop there,
Huh?
please?
Yes?
There was $25,000 in the budget to start funding the skateboard park. And then that money was taken out and was spent for something else.
It was
Correct?
I think-
I
15.
can, I
we-
can
we-
address that.
Yeah,
We had a playscape at.
if you would do it here.
Prince Park.
We had a playscape at Bride-Brook. Actually, there was $15,000 that was in the capital improvement fund. The playscape was an old wooden playscape that really needed to come out, and so that money is actually being in the reappropriation process that was designed for the skateboard park. So my commission thought it was more important in the short term to get that playscape replaced with a up-to-date one. So that's where that.
Right, because we just discussed this a couple of months ago, I
Right.
believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's on the
To-
call for the town meeting.
To take that 25,000.
Right, it was 15.
15.
It was
It was
15.
15, yeah. Not that the skateboard park wasn't important, it was just that was an immediate concern. and
Yeah,
we wanted
didn't
to
someone get
that
hurt there and you
addressed.
had to rip it out anyway?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Keep going? Townwide projects, we do 100, and then we've been carrying the open space land, but we've not used that. That should that be green in
It
the
should be
bond?
green,
That should
something,
be,
that page copied black.
okay, this page didn't work, so you tell me when I hit a green or another color if I miss it, Anna.
Yeah.
And then the Board of Education,
You gotta go one more page.
have their acquisition program is tied in, they get a vehicle, their upgrade on the computers and, I'm sorry, the telephone, and then skip, what is this? Oh, this is the
That's the
color, oh,
colors.
okay, good. You guys have color in there?
No, we all have that, I have that
That
one.
was
saved.
Colorless.
Huh?
We're colorless.
Well, we saved 15 cents on each page, not putting them in color, so that we're able
Okay,
to
so
cut.
where are we?
We are in education.
My favorite topic.
Board of Education acquisition program, they get a vehicle, they're in the same thing, you see that's what they have existing, and that is a decreasing amount as they move forward. They're getting a new one-ton pickup truck proposed, that's the 13,000 over 5 years. And then the district-wide technology plan they've been embarking on. And then security needs, this is a grant program that I believe has been already approved, is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
77,000. And then district-wide security needs is 106, we put that in, and that'll come from CNRE. The roof at central office is failing, so unfortunately, we have to try to do something with that. We're in the process of checking that out. The network, they want to upgrade